welcome to another episode of Jukebox Zeros. I'm Lee.
I'm Patrick.
Oh, hey, howdy. How you guys doing? Did you have a nice Halloween, Pat?
It was spectacularly spooky.
Did you have a Halloween?
It was a Halloween of sorts, yeah.
Were you not spooked by the scary prog rock that we listened to in the last episode?
No, just a little more dead inside.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's pretty scary, but to be expected.
So we've got an episode of sorts, if it can be called that, tonight. Before we get started, we got two all-important segments to get through. So I was down in the hallway a little earlier.
Oh, that's right. I have a segment. It's called, what are those guys called? Chicago, what is it? Chicago, Whitney Houston, or Celine Dion. Thank you.
This time I'm pretty sure it was Chicago.
Excellent. Yeah, they've been fucking rocking that station a lot lately.
I mean,
somebody's been feeling the Peter Cetera fever.
It sounded like some variety of white people jazzy, and it had a voice that could only be Peter Cetera.
Well, apparently our property manager, Alyssa, loves Peter Cetera.
Or an incredibly believable Peter Cetera simulacrum.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, to use a colloquial phrase.
Yeah, where is that a colloquial phrase?
I'm sorry. Which brings us into our next segment. It's time for the apology section.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, you got anything to apologize for this week, Pat?
I'm sorry for Soft Shoe Magoo. Fuck that guy.
I'm not sorry. I'm glad he's dead.
Well, I'm sorry he wasted our time on the show.
I mean, I will say we probably should have cleaned the corpse out of here. I mean, this is the smell cave, but it's extra, stenchy today.
Yeah, I mean...
With the corpse of cigar box ukulele player Soft Shoe Magoo just kind of sprawled across the floor over there.
Yeah, I mean, beyond that, we also have, 4 Burger King sandwiches in here.
Yeah, there's really no reason for that, though...
Well, sure there is. Sure there is.
Okay, I believe you.
So why don't I just go ahead and tell you why?
Yeah.
We have all these
I'm going to apologize for the incredibly flimsy premise of today's episode, which we'll get into later, but in order to distract you from that, we've got 2 top-tier guests for you today.
Oh my god, yes we do.
I don't feel good.
I didn't say you could talk yet.
I mean, you know these two from our sister podcast, Old Men Yell at Cloud.
It's our first return guests.
Yeah, our first return guests. We have
back from the Limp Bizkit episode and the Chris Cornell episode, respectively.
Yes, respectively and respectfully. Yeah. What the fuck are your names? Christopher Brown.
Hello.
And Jim Schultz.
There better be some goddamn Jim Beans on this episode, I swear to God.
Yes, you've been holding us to that ever since that episode.
Yeah, he did.
And rightfully so. Someone should.
Yeah, he dipped his toes into football for a while, right?
Sure.
Sure.
Before we get into what this episode is about, do we maybe want to address why there's so much ASMR going on? Why we're talking disjointedly about Burger King?
We're all eating Nightmare Kings. I don't know how much longer they're going to be available, and by the same token, I don't know how long they've been at that location.
And by that token, I don't know how much longer I'm going to live.
This tastes like something that I've never tasted before.
So
I imagine this is what moss tastes like.
That's what it looks like.
For full context, a Nightmare King is like a limited release item from Burger King. It's a otherworldly green patty, which I assume they found in a pit somewhere.
It's a green bun. It's not a green patty.
This is what I assume happened. They walked down into the woods, and a squirrel had just
like I said,
expired on a patch of moss and roasted in the sun.
They found it in a pit somewhere.
Yeah.
It was pulsating, and then they put it in the oven.
Oh God, I'm gonna throw up.
But anyway,
just make sure you get it on the corpse.
It's a weirdly green bun with a Whopper patty, fried chicken patty, cheese or some approximation of it, and normally it has mayonnaise and onions. Mine doesn't.
There's bacon on it as well. There are 3
Right.
full meats.
Yes.
The special thing about this Nightmare King is that it's supposed to actually increase the chance that you will have nightmares after eating it.
I'm having a nightmare right now.
Yeah,
I bet
no.
you they lace the bun with LSD. You start tripping balls.
That's what they forgot to tell you in the press release.
Yeah.
I thought they would have gone over that.
But I bought the burgers for everyone. So it was amazing when I went to the Burger King. And I said to the woman working there, "Can I have 4 Nightmare Kings, please?" And she said, 4? And looked at me with this look that was like equal parts like just amusement and like shock.
And probably like part curiosity as well. Like, what's this guy up to?
Well, the thing that got me, I was clearly there alone. And she's like, "For here to go." And I'm like, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to do all 4 of these myself in one sitting here.
So you do the math.
So even though you think that I am a monster that can eat 4 of these, plus the 2 things of fries that I got for whatever reason, I'm going to go do that elsewhere, thank you.
I guess that's a compliment, kind of. No? Okay.
For the record, I don't know if my data is going to be skewed tonight because I've just been having nightmares regularly anyway. I don't think Emily has slept in 3 days because I just wake up screaming in the
That's
middle
right.
of the night.
We're keeping tabs on our respective bowel situations afterwards.
Can we get a base level? What kind of nightmares you been having?
A lot of them I don't remember. The worst one I've ever had was I was in the middle of a city and there was nobody around and the wind was blowing and there was just like papers rustling around and a goddamn like UFO tried to like start sucking me up.
I mean, that.
And I was grabbing onto a chain link fence and just screaming bloody murder.
I mean, before you brought up the UFO, that pretty much just sounds like Christmas Day in any suburban area.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all have the Travis Walton dream.
So it looks like the spider's my friend today.
Yeah, he's still in here.
That spider was in.
He's in the
couple
Genesis episode too.
Yeah, that's right. He was in the
From, like,
Genesis
2 weeks
episode.
ago.
You got to name him.
Nah. Seymour.
Boris.
Seymour.
Boris.
Boris
Seymour. I don't know.
Boris some more.
Boris Seymour.
Boris Seymour Barry.
Yeah, this is... Man, these sandwiches were a mistake. What if you what if you told the person at the Burger King who took your order that like you were going to eat it, the first one in the restaurant, instantly fall asleep, and then you want the second one to be fed to you while you're in like this first cycle of sleep, and then as you slowly go and it's like Inception. And
I was just going to say, it's called
different...
Inception.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just pitching that idea just poorly.
Like some kind of.
How much would you have to pay a Burger King employee to do that, do you think?
Feed you while you sleep. I wouldn't trust them to do it properly because I feel like that's a really difficult thing to do. Like, actually get someone to properly masticate while they're unconscious and
What
swallow.
about masturbate?
Yeah. So anyway, if we sound extra unprofessional today,
Because I'm here.
So anyway, now that our gullets are nice and full of hideous,
There's a cinder
hideous
block in our
form,
stomach.
hideous excuses from nutrition.
Garmonbosia.
If like a doctor did an autopsy on me and like found this combination of colors in my body, they would like whatever the actual like cause of my death was, this would just totally throw him off track. This would just be like a red herring.
Why did this man eat a dyed dog?
We found this man. He overdosed on chalk, it looks like.
It just like cut me open and it looks like the end of the video for Hurt by 9 Inch Nails where the dog is like dissolving.
Except it was directed by the guys who did Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared instead.
Wait, who is that?
You've never heard of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
I don't think so.
Look it up. We don't have time.
Why not?
Okay, why the hell not? So,
Oh no, wait, we're doing a podcast. We have a show.
like, Too Long Don't Read's explanation, it's an incredibly creepy parody of, like, children's shows. And it, like, delves into existential horror and stuff.
Sounds good.
Anyway, now that we're all filled with meat with 2 E's, let's get into this flimsy premise of an episode, shall we? Sports.
I love Huey Lewis, too.
You wanted me to keep going?
I love the games. They're so much fun to watch
Okay,
and to participate in.
Since
That's the idea.
Since time immemorial, as far back as the Olympic Games of Greece and whatever was before that, mankind has enjoyed the ritual of public competition known as sports, and sometimes there is music related to sports.
You just sound like an like an alien that just discovered sports
I was
for the first time.
I was thinking more like a 6th grader who wrote his term paper on the bus.
Close enough to the same thing.
So in conclusion, I believe in this essay that I have here today.
Really trying
I mean-
to beef up that essay to 5 paragraphs. Yeah.
Double space, triple space, double paragraph.
He doesn't have to beef it up because we've beefed it up and chickened it up
Yes.
and baconed it up.
Yeah, and we're washing it down with beer too, so that's probably not going to help.
I mean, I don't know what could be said in terms of like a long-winded contextual essay like I usually do, but any and all mediums of popular culture eventually kind of intertwine with one another, and the joining together of sports and music is no exception. I mean, of course there's going to be songs about sports and music during sporting events. That's all par for the course. Then you've got the other side of things. When sports invades music. When a multi-million-dollar athlete gets tired of tossing the ball from one side of the field to the other and decides, I've got a song in my heart, and I've got to let it free. And that's pretty much what we're doing today. In a similar vein to our Christmas episode last year and our recent Kids Bop episode, we're going to take a look at just a couple of random standout oddities of the merging of sports and music, and, you know, just generally have a goof.
Yeah, so sports music.
Before we start
great
digging
stuff.
in, do any of you guys have your own like individual histories of sporting you would like to share?
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Are you asking about like actual sports performance or sports and music?
I mean,
intertwining.
like sports performance. Did you ever do like, you know, little league sports or anything like that? Or
I did soccer and then street hockey at Hockey Town on Route 1, and I heard that the place where I used to play street hockey out back, it's like a proper like deck hockey rink. Part of it collapsed, and they just
boy.
sort of like cleaned it up and reopened.
Just sort of cleaned it up
And reopened,
and
yeah.
reopened.
you say cleaned it up. Does that involve, you know, fixing whatever made it collapse in the first place?
I don't think so. I think it's just part of it's exposed to the elements.
They
at that
moved
point.
whatever they
Okay.
could push with a push broom out of the way.
Okay.
It's like large
and-
cinder blocks were just there. They're
From
just there.
from my experiences at Hockey Town, and I haven't been there in at least 20 years or so now. That's probably the most cleaning that they've ever done.
It's just like a national landmark now, like the tire fire.
Exactly. Yeah, Hockey Town and the ticket place next door.
where you can get your tickets for things.
Did you ever do any Sportos type stuff, Pat?
Yeah, so I did. I've always been a terrible athlete, and so I did do like t-ball. I did soccer when I was a little kid. I think like
Gunter's trying to break in.
It looks like the cover of Human Centipede.
He really wants those disgusting burgers.
Gunter, you don't know what you want. Okay? He's a dumb cat. He
Still
really
trying
doesn't know.
to discover himself.
He just
Or maybe he just wants to nestle in the bloated corpse of Soft Shoe Magoo.
That's yeah. I mean, cats like to eat people when they're dead, right? That actually is a great idea because I should probably put that and the other cat Hobbs to work to start decomposing this body for me.
Yeah, you won't even need to call the coroner.
Yeah. Good thing he was an orphan.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I played t-ball and then so I eventually graduated to like regular ass baseball when I was in first grade, and my first day I was playing left field and like took a fly ball to the face, and like my mom had to take me off the field, like her fucking sweatshirt wrapped around my face. It was just like gushing blood.
It's like you're Michael Jackson walking around in public.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I never went back since.
Jim, did you say if you did any like sporty type stuff?
Yeah, I played Little League for like 1 year, and I remember I hit a home run, and I didn't touch any of the bases, so it didn't count, and the whole team yelled at me. And,
Because you're supposed to touch the bases
So-
in order to make the magic points.
If I may ask a question, what route did you take?
Just went straight to home. It was the
It
easiest way
reminded
there.
me of the letter Z. No, the fucking kids were standing on top of the bases, so I couldn't hit them. My dad was like, next time, knock them over.
Thanks, Dad. Oh, they always have the best advice for your baseball sons.
My dad used to yell at me when I was in the outfield because the ice cream truck would come by, and I'd be like out in the outfield, like staring at the ice cream truck, and you just hear my dad off the side, Jerry, stop looking at the ice cream truck and pay attention.
Oh my god!
I did youth soccer for a couple of years. Then I think the last big sporty type thing I did was when I was in college. I did badminton for 3 years.
Oh, there we go.
Badminton is fun.
Yeah, it was to fulfill a physical requirement at the college, which badminton was one credit. So I skirted their whole requirement by just taking that 3 times, several semesters straight. And they were just kind of like, no, we wanted you to take physical science, and I'll have my credits, please.
That's
the
ridiculous.
story of how I fleeced Fitchburg State University.
That's insane.
I hope they're not listening right now.
that they make you do physical stuff. It's like, if you want your degree to get out into the real world, give me some sit-ups.
Well, I don't think they meant specifically you have to do sports or anything, because like I said, they offered physical science and nutritional science type
okay.
classes,
But that's
type
worse.
courses. Yeah,
Badminton's the best way to go there.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Unless-
I definitely made the right choice.
but I feel like this was a class you took as a senior.
Yes,
So
I went back. I only needed 1 credit left, and I went back there.
no, that's
To
fine.
play badminton?
No,
Oh, okay.
I wasn't a senior when I took badminton.
I mean, that's a great idea for like an '80s movie, like comedy, right there. It's just like this guy never got his bachelor's degree because he needs to get.
That's the sequel to Back to School, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
back to school.
Back to badminton.
I forgot
You got to get 1 more credit.
I forgot some credits.
Got to play badminton.
So
I don't get no credits.
Oh, that's great. Like
so
the man.
I got to ask, Lee, what is that on your shirt there?
Oh, for anyone that's not watching our amazing live stream, I'm wearing a shirt featuring the logo for the German industrial band Das Ich,
Okay, because
which translates to the I, which is some kind of Jungian thing and some bullshit. I don't know.
with the creative mind that I had, inserted a D after the A and a T after the I, and I'll let you guys do the math.
Well, I
Dad's
mean,
itch.
yeah. Well, I mean, when I was coming up, I seriously hoped one of you guys would just look at that and think it's just some really roundabout way of going, that's sick. So sports music.
Yeah, sports music.
Yeah.
Oh, that's National Geographic.
Stop being smart.
Animal music is another episode.
Music
So-
by animals for animals.
To start us off,
Oliver the Chib.
Oh man,
that's a crossover.
yeah. He released like a disco album in the late '70s. It's fantastic. Giorgio Moroder helped produce it.
Yeah, Donna Summer on backing vocals.
Oh yeah, good shit.
Oliver on roller skates, just dancing in the video.
Smoking a cigar.
Anyway, to start us off, we could not possibly talk about sports and music without making mention of what's possibly one of the most famous tracks of them all. I am, of course, referring to the 1985 lineup of football team, the Chicago Bears rap hit, The Super Bowl Shuffle.
We are the Bears, shuffling crew, shuffling on down, doing it for you. We're so bad, we know we're good, blowing your mind like we knew we would. You know we're just strutting for fun, strutting our stuff for everyone. We're not here to start no trouble, we're just here to do the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Yeah.
Recorded in 1985 as a charity single to benefit the Chicago Community Trust and featured pretty much the entirety of the 1985 Bears lineup in its famous music video as either a verse, singer, chorus, or instrumental performers, including a very bored-looking punter, Maury Buford, on cowbell. But he's if you've ever seen that
Glad
video,
they brought in
he's
the greats.
and I guarantee no one's actually playing any of those instruments in that film.
Probably.
Video. It's not a film.
Got a question about the lyrics here, and just sort of what they're going for, in terms of like I guess the grammar and the wordplay. Is the opposite of trouble doing the Super Bowl shuffle? Because that seems to be what they're positing.
That's an interesting point. I never would have thought of that.
I like the idea of like that being like a Kant sort of like philosophy. Like in life, one must struggle to do the Super Bowl shuffle.
Well, yeah, that's
Not bad.
Yeah,
they don't just hand that
that's
shit to
genuinely
you.
not bad. That's actually a pretty good Zen koan.
Can I
there.
Can I stop you for a second? Hey, Patrick, are you going to eat that thing?
yes. but I'm hosting the show. I don't want to be like.
Wait, are you gonna? Are you,
No, I was going to ask him if he could wrap it up because I'm going to throw up if I Thank you.
So that's those guys, and are they
they
good?
win?
Are they? Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
I should have written it
Yeah,
down.
it's a NFL superstition. If you're on the cover of Madden, you're gonna lose that year. However, if you release a charity rap single, you will win that year.
I mean, you have to.
That's
You
a
wouldn't
very
wanna let
that's a
that
very
happen.
specific prophecy.
What year was it? 1984?
1985.
That might have been the year.
That was the year of William Refrigerator Perry and a bunch of other people I'm spacing on their names of because they didn't have clever nicknames.
Old
I think that might have been the
washing
year.
machine.
I don't know enough about football, but I think it might have been the year that the Bears beat the Patriots.
That's a possibility.
Somebody's
And
going to write and go, "You fucking idiot!"
They released that, and are they good at rapping?
It's Gary here, and I'm Mr. Clean. They call me Hitman, don't know what they mean. They throw it long and watch me run. I'm on my man, one-on-one. Buddies, guys, cover it down to the bone. That's why they call us the 46 zone. Come on, everybody, let's scream and yell. We're gonna do the shuffle, then ring your bell.
Run DMC, they ain't.
Decent flow.
Why
Give them that. Did they write the lyrics?
I don't think so. Like, I think a fan wrote the lyrics for them, and they just thought, we'll make it into a song.
What? Why did
what?
Why did
It was. I really should have written it down, but it was some fan that wrote the lyrics to the song, which is why every single player that has a line on it is just like, I run the ball and I throw it good, doing it like I knew I would, kind of cadence like that.
The Bears weren't even in the Super Bowl in 1984.
85.
Oh, 85.
that's
I
like the
answered
third time
that
he has
twice.
told you.
It's the fucking burger. I'm starting to have my nightmare.
You're not so much having meat
My
sweat.
nightmare is I can't get the damn.
So
You're not so much having meat sweats as you're having meat hallucinations.
oh,
So
it was.
I have some background questions.
Wait a minute. They weren't in the fucking 1985 Super Bowl either.
No?
All right.
No.
We don't know anything about sports. We have plenty to apologize
do we know,
for next week.
Yeah, next week's gonna suck for you guys. Do you know how many players
Wait.
they had on the team?
It was,
I do not.
It was the Patriots and the Bears beat the Patriots. That was right.
No, I'm just because I'm wondering. They gave that guy 8 bars. How many did they give them all 8 bars? How long is this song?
Not all of the members of the team actually like recorded on the thing.
okay.
Like it was all of them were in the music video, but I think only a select few amount of people on the team actually recorded bars.
The ones that could rap, like as well as that.
Yes,
fella.
the ones that could rap.
Yeah.
Like William Refrigerator Perry. The single was a cultural touchstone that sold over 500,000 copies. It reached number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and was nominated for a 1987 Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group, losing out to Kiss by Prince. Imagine
Fucking recount that shit.
Imagine
Yeah, seriously. What?
Imagine if they won. I mean, the other nominees that year were, like, there was Prince, Sade, Run DMC, Cameo, and Ashford and Simpsons. Imagine if the Bears won.
That would have been so good.
And it's not that far-fetched a hypothetical either, because the Grammy Awards routinely make the worst decisions imaginable.
Yeah, because that could be like a new addition to the whole EGOT thing, where like you win all of the major awards, but you also have a Super Bowl ring.
Super Bowl. Right. EGOTs.
BGOT.
Or CGOT. SGOT.
SGOT.
Exit. Then you'd be living in a world where it's not ridiculous to say the phrase, the Grammy Award-winning 1985 Chicago Bears. And that's nuts.
Just that one year, though. They were a musical bunch.
Yeah.
They had a song in their heart, and
they had to let it free.
They did.
They had to let it out. William Refrigerator Perry had to let his freak flag fly.
My chest hurts.
That's just the vitamins.
It's the vitamins.
Is that the vitamins entering my just specifically left arm that's making it
The vitamins very slowly trudging through your ventricles. So the Super Bowl Shuffle wasn't the first single cut by a sports team. That would be a track called We Are the 49ers, a disco song by the 1984 San Francisco 49ers. But the Super Bowl Shuffle was the first one to reach commercial success, and it spawned a host of imitators over the years from other sports franchises, football and otherwise. For Pat and my money, though, and Deep Dive Jukebox Zeros fans will enjoy this, none of them could ever stand up to the sheer brilliance that was 1986 New York Mets' contribution to music. I am, of course, talking about Get Metsmerized.
Get mesmerized, get mesmerized. Get mesmerized, get mesmerized.
With control and power of a diesel train, throwing tombstone bullets and a ball and chain. Lenny D, your spirit's contagious. What you do at your body is really outrageous.
Get Metsmerized was recorded as the Mets were just on the verge of a championship win and be released long after the team won the World Series.
Was he like playing the game as he was singing?
Unlike Super Bowl,
grab the bases.
unlike Super Bowl Shuffle, it wasn't recorded for charity either. It was pressed in a limited vinyl single run of 1,000 copies, only 120 of which would get sold.
Question, where did the rest go?
I don't know. Maybe the guy who stole all those Shags LPs has them.
Yeah, I was just about to draw a Shags parallel there. There's some some interesting meter choices from that.
Skipping town with all of the Get Metsmerized singles.
I'll make a fortune with these.
So here's some info ripped straight from Discogs. The Get Metsmerized single lists 3 producers, whom of the 3 of them, only one has any credits further than this single. That would be a guy by the name of Bob Held, whose other credits include a ton of production credits for late 90s and aughts solo releases for Joe Lynn Turner, the 1980s vocalist of Rainbow, and blues guitarist Joe Bonamassa.
Oh, yeah.
Old Joe.
Bonamassa.
You can hear some of that. You can hear some of that early blues twang on Get Metsmerized. And it's a real murderer's row of 1980s baseball legends. On the track, there's players like Darryl Strawberry, Howard Johnson, Dwight Gooden, all rapping like they're Slick Rick after he took a blow to the head.
Darryl.
But
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Glad we were there.
Yeah.
there's one MVP among the lot of them. This is my MVP moment of the song, by the way. That's absolutely worth highlighting. One guy who captured both Pat and my hearts when this single was first brought to light. The lone verse by shortstop Rafael Santana. Witness now what can only be described as art.
Rafael Santana is my name. Playing shortstop is my game. I'm a cool glove man. I'm real smooth. Been mesmerized to sing the groove.
He's kind of like the William Hung of baseball rock.
Baseball rock.
Yes.
That's a. Is that what you would call this genre? Because they're not really rocking so much as rapping.
They're not really
Yeah.
rapping either, though.
I
They're
mean,
sort of just.
this was kind of in that peas and carrots era of rap where they were still trying to get out of that sort of thing where it's like disco with chanting,
Yeah.
where everyone was rapping about like how bad their parents cook chicken and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get a bottle of KO Pectate.
Yeah, when everyone's first bar ended with, and I'm here to say.
And maybe they're here to rap in a specific kind of way.
Perhaps.
Or they're like the greatest something in the USA.
Just like Fred Flintstone. You guys familiar with that old like 90s Fruity Pebbles commercial where like Fred Flintstone as a rapper?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's in like the little Run DMC getup with the
my
bucket
God.
hat and the big
does
old
he-
jacket and stuff like that.
Bonnie, my pebbles.
And it's literally like him being like, "My name is Fred, and I'm here to say it's fun to get pebbles in a dangerous way."
in a dangerous way?
Whoa, how are you getting?
Yeah, like slinging them on the streets.
Bonnie, we gotta fly into Colombia and get him in a helicopter.
Gotta move these pebbles, Pond. What are you doing? Shove them up your ass if you have to.
We gotta skip the airport, Bond. They got a drug sniffing Dino.
I don't know, Fred. I'm gonna need you to shove him up there real deep, Bud. The drug dogs can't sniff him out once you get past your rectum.
Okay, Fred.
I'm Paul McCartney.
And scene. It comes out that this was all just one elaborate ruse for Barney to steal Fred's pebbles by sticking them up his ass.
Let's get more sandwiches. Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna go out and get more sandwiches.
I will die. Like I'm not literally. I will die. No, God, no! Put it away.
And we're back. All right. So don't get me wrong though. You don't need to be a sports franchise from the 1980s to write an incredibly embarrassing tie-in rap song in spite of having no experience with emceeing whatsoever. Sometimes you can be a revered post-punk / synth-pop group from the 1980s. That was the case with New Order when they released the song World in Motion.
Love's got the world in motion, and I know what we can do. Love's got the world in motion, and I can't believe it's true.
World in Motion was a track written for England's 1990 FIFA World Cup campaign. It has the distinction of being the only New Order track to reach #1 on the UK singles charts, as well as charting on the US Billboard Hot Dance Singles and Modern Rock Tracks charts. It features guest vocals from members of the English FIFA soccer team, as well as comedian and television presenter Keith Allen. And you might be thinking to yourself, hold the phone there, Captain. This song doesn't have any rapping in it. To which I, in the bridge, featuring English left-winger John Barnes, say to you, that's where you're wrong, my friend.
Catch me if you can, 'cause I'm the England man, and what you're looking at is the master plan. We ain't no hooligans, this ain't a football song. 3 lions on my chest, I know we can't go wrong.
Barnes Rap has its own Wikipedia page. This is true. The rap was a last-minute addition to the track, the original concept of which was to have all of the footballers that showed up do gang vocals on a verse, but only Barnes was deemed acceptable for recording because of both the thickness of all the other players' accents and their own inability to keep on the rhythm. This is true.
Oh, you guys get the fun in it?
I don't think they were...
You sound like kangaroo
maybe.
courts.
That was before they even started drinking, too. That's the best part.
My name is Nigel, and I like to drink. Wait. Damn it, Nigel. We're trying to... You need to stay on the bars. Oh, sorry. I know where this is going.
Listen, Nigel, if you don't fucking give me that good cake, I'm gonna take all your beer and then put
No! I'm gonna have to eat Dunkaroos from now on.
Oh, you got Dunkaroos.
Even
Sure,
though it's
I'll take those.
1990 and they haven't been invented yet.
Oh, I'm on the cutting edge. I know the guy who invented them. I'm best friends with Andrew Dunkaroo. He's got all the goods. He's got the good treats.
Nowadays, the rap is considered an indelible piece of English footy lore and a tradition at some games to some games to sing along to. But upon its release, the British press described it as cringeworthy, uncomfortable, and one of the worst pre-Vanilla Ice raps of all time. Now,
At least they threw that distinction in there.
Now, that's New Order. They sound like ABC. Or like one of those, like, sort of also ran era 1980s synth pop groups on it. Like, this is... I mean, New Order was eventually, like, becoming slightly sunnier over time as, you know, Joy Division got further and further from memory. But this is pretty bubbly for New Order, I'd say.
Yeah, 3/4 of this band wrote She Lost Control, which is mind-boggling.
Yeah. So this was 1990 that
Yep.
they wrote this?
The 1990
A
for...
scant 10 years later.
Yes, that's correct. That's what happened. So, fun fact, speaking of which, this song came about after Football Association press officer David Bloomfield got into contact with Tony Wilson of Factory Records, because Bloomfield had been a longtime fan of Joy Division, and they gave him this. According to a Manchester Evening News article about the band, which also covered the song itself, one of the band members even described the single as the last straw for Joy Division fans.
Yeah, that was probably Peter
Yeah,
Hook, I'm
it's
guessing.
probably I was about to say. Shot in the dark, it's probably Peter Hook. He never plays ball.
He played bass.
That he does, Pat.
What?
I'm not going to high five you, Pat.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to.
Hey, speaking of embarrassing periods in hip hop history, remember when Shaquille O'Neal had a hip hop career?
Music, please. I dribble around like basketballums. People call me 18.
What's that, Shaq, man?
Extra tallums. You're better than Shaq Tech, fool. Shut up, liar. I lean on a statue of liberty when I get tired. Then I punch her in the stomach. I don't give a heck.
Hey, yo, why you pull the hooker like that?
Joe should breathe on my neck. People walk around like, yo, they get charged, but I'm big like...
Yes, he said, I don't give a heck.
Yeah. I mean, when you're that big of a man, you can kind of do whatever you want, though.
That's true.
There were other players in the NBA that would say, like, he would kiss them on the top of their head, and they're just like,
That's true.
What am I? Yeah. He's like, well, what am I going to do? The guy's like fucking 9 feet tall.
Who cheats at categories?
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't give a heck. I'm going to rap anywhere I dang well please. I'm going to say dang instead of damn.
Do you remember his video game, Shaq Fu?
Shaq Fu, yes, of
It
course.
was like the least playable Street Fighter ripoff I've ever played.
I don't know. There's some pretty unplayable Street Fighter ripoffs.
Yeah, and Shaq Fu was certainly among them.
You guys ever play Ernie's Big Splash?
No.
The hacked version?
Gee, oh God!
Is this going to be a sex thing?
What fucking nightmare do you have for us tonight, Jim?
This sounds like some. This sounds like some
You
horrendous.
guys know me so well.
It sounds like you're about to mention some horrendous ROM hack where Ernie pees on Bert or something like
It's
that.
close. Let me get a video for you. We'll talk after the show.
Well, I guess this isn't a family show anymore.
It was a family show.
Not that it was after all those cum jokes you made in the Prince episode.
No, but it was
there you go,
important that they
that's-
heard that. But they heard that now rather than like later from their teachers.
Yeah,
it's
that's
good that they get it from a trusted source.
I'm gonna text Tom right now and just go, Ernie's Big Splash, please.
So yeah, that's Shaq Diesel himself. That was his rap name, Shaq Diesel.
You know, he's not that bad a rapper. I
No,
gotta
he's
say.
not.
He's got a right flow.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I'll back you up on that. And the beat was like pretty fun for whatever it was.
It was actually kind of a sick song.
Yeah.
yeah. I will say though, his lyrics leave a lot to be desired. Like he can flow, but he can't really write them very well. Here's like a choice sampling of some of the stuff from that track. I know I got skills.
He does.
I get dirty after dark. I'll treat you like Spielberg. You'll get your ass kicked in a park.
Like Spielberg.
Well, Steven Spielberg is a well-known street tough.
Yes.
He likes to take people out into the parking lot and kick their asses.
Yes, he's been well known to gather up big groups of people and just have, coordinated dance fights with
He's
people.
a bare knuckle boxer, actually. I remember that.
Yeah. No, he used to beat up the neighborhood kids and force them to be in
that
his
true?
movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's how he got. That's
how he got
climbed
Harrison
through the
Ford.
top. Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
he got Harrison Ford. That's how he got.
Well, and that's what
the other
happened.
guy.
That's what happened to Kubrick. That's why Kubrick's dead. Stephen King beat him to death.
Stephen King or Steven Spielberg?
Just like Harry.
Stephen King. Oh, we're changing.
But then he got him back when he hit him with that van up on that main road, right?
Yeah, and then Steven Spielberg got angry about Kubrick, and he hit Stephen King with a car.
It's just,
And then Stephen King wrote The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, and no one read it.
it's just like Harry Houdini. It's just like when Stephen King killed Harry Houdini. Here's another one. You may have just heard. I'll punch you in the stomach. I don't give a heck.
Why didn't he just say?
It's good that he specified. And yeah, he should have said tummy.
Punch
in the
you
belly.
tummy.
Punch you in the tum tum.
And I don't give a heck.
Punch you in the tum-tum. You're a real dum-dum.
Here's my favorite. I got a hand that'll rock your cradle, cream you like cheese, spread you on my bagel.
So I'm really confused as to the message of this song because one second it sounds like he's like threatening to beat the shit out of someone, and then the next second it sounds like he's trying to like roughly seduce someone.
I think it's a little bit of both. It's sort of a. That's how he communicates with people.
I mean,
he doesn't know. any other
presumably-
way.
I don't know what emotions are, right? I'm just confused and horny.
Presumably, if the title is anything to go by, he has the skills to do both. And he is aware of those skills.
Well, yeah. I mean, he should be. He's a big basketball star.
This track was a 1993 Billboard Top 40 hit, reaching number 35 on the charts. It was certified gold by the RIAA and shipped 500,000 copies. It was the track that prevented the then Orlando Magic Center from being a one-hit wonder, having previously guest versed on the track "What's Up, Doc? Can We Rock" by a rap group called FUH-BAWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWWW
are to assume that this song was in rotation at every Market's 107.9 station?
That's entirely possible.
I think so.
That's.
I mean, it's entirely
incredible.
It's probably one of the safest kind of hip hop songs they could play at any market basket. There's probably some market basket somewhere, or a fucking Safeway or something where that's playing.
Fuck Market Basket.
Well, yes,
fan.
absolutely.
Not a fan.
I went in there once and had an anxiety attack because it was so crowded.
Was it the one in Somerville?
That one sucks.
No, it was the one in South Attleboro.
Yeah, the one in Somerville is fantastic because they have a big bucket of sawdust right by the entrance, and I'm assuming for all the people who throw up.
They got one of those in Lowell
They got
too.
so many good deals. You'll fucking throw up, you stupid butts.
Is that enough of a problem for that chain where they have to have sawdust at the ready?
Great deals.
So, something I just learned. These sandwiches are even worse tepid.
Oh no! Why would you continue eating that?
I don't know.
I was hoping it would
'Cause
just
I didn't
sort
have-
of
I
create
didn't-
its own heat.
Because I didn't have dinner. My favorite part of the song, at the end, the beat starts to drop out as if it were the outro of the piece. And then Shaq, honest to goodness, goes, psych, and the beat comes back in.
Oh, nice.
Psych.
Sick.
Man, that's
The 90s.
I would have never known. The 90s was full of surprises.
What year was this?
This was 93.
Oh, so he might have taken it from Shanice. It was Shanice,
Shanice?
right? That did the.
Oh, yeah.
Because she had a psych in that too.
Yeah, she sure did.
Was that artist that was on that episode of Family Matters you guys were talking about in the Slack chat?
Sure is. Yeah, she dated Eddie, and the two of them did a duet, and it was great because Carl and Harriet were sitting in the audience, and just Carl gave this look like, my son has talent?
Yo, Shanice.
Oh, Harriet.
I don't know, Harriet.
Shanice, if you're out there, come on
on the podcast.
Yeah, please do. You can review Love Beach.
And I technically can't invite anyone onto the podcast on these people's behalf, but
Do it.
Reginald Veljohnson, if you're listening,
Yes.
they'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
You didn't even have to ask. He could show right up.
He
Don't
had-
even walk, you can
He has
walk right in.
He has an open invitation, like whenever Christopher Walken's on SNL.
I wonder if Reginald Veljohnson just walks around wearing a cop uniform.
I just realized you're wearing your Pizza Inn shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, JoJo.
Now, what was the town where that? Oh, the Colony, Texas.
The Colony, Texas.
That's why we
yes.
looked that up because I was talking to someone from the Colony, Texas. I was like, that's got to be a compound. So we looked it up and like part of the history of the
This
town.
is legitimately a place called the Colony.
Yes.
Well,
It's a town in Texas.
And it's the global headquarters of Pizza Inn.
Are you sure it's a town and not a gaping crater with a gigantic tentacly eyeball sticking out of it?
Now,
I think it's that guy.
how far do Pizza Inn's tentacles reach in the United States?
They get up to a
Yes,
few hours away from my
Yes.
sister's place in Virginia.
Tell us about the eldritch horrors of Pizza Inn.
They get up to Virginia. It's a few hours away from my where my sister lives. But I was trying to convince her daughter to like really work on her. Just be like, yeah, just tell your mother that you really want to go to Pizza Inn.
Pizza Inn. Everyone goes in. No one comes out.
It'd be creepy
Hungry.
if like, ooh, that's gonna intimidate me into.
You should send that to them.
Men
Would,
go.
it'd be creepy if like, all right,
Pizza Inn. Men go in. Men do not leave.
all right, you've out creeped me. I'm saving my story.
Is that a Dave
for my
Mustaine
nightmare.
lyric?
It could be. Men go in. Men do not leave. Hello, me. It's me again. I've told you guys that I think Dave Mustaine sounds like a goblin, right?
He does.
He's a tiny little goblin that tells you,
He's a little
he gives you
asshole, too.
that whispers clues in your ear.
My old when I worked at Shaw's, my old manager said he met him and he like shook his hand. He was like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you." And David was like, "Ow! What are you doing? You trying to break my fucking hand?" His bodyguard like kicked him out.
I met
That's my shredding hand.
met Dave Mustaine. I was like, oh, nice to meet you, Dave. And he was like, it's nice to meet me too, me.
And then he shook his own hand and gave himself carpal tunnel syndrome.
And now I will eat you unless you answer my riddles 3.
You're creeping me out, Dave. Tell it to Reader's Digest.
Then he turned into like a mole rat and scurried away.
I'm off to find Marty Friedman.
What sports did they play?
Megadeth? I think they played cricket.
No, I think they one of them played remember the MTV had like a rock star baseball team?
Oh,
Jerry
yeah.
Cantrell was on it for some reason.
Yeah, Rock and Jock.
Rock and Jock. There
Is
we
that
go.
like an earlier version of like that celebrity basketball game that keeps popping up, where we see
think
just
so.
like Win Butler awkwardly fumbling around the court in a jersey that's too big? This is
Is he
true.
like 5'3"? Like
This
No,
is true.
he's actually very tall.
is he tall?
Yeah.
He just sounds
Yeah,
tiny.
he's just like this lumbering goon that walks around like, hey everyone, the kids already know. Wait, can you say anything that doesn't involve the kids? I mean, the kids know. Win, just please stop talking in your song lyrics. Okay, the kids.
Now the neighbors can pass. Now that I'm open. I actually like that album. So Shag Diesel may have been ridiculous on its face, but he surrounded himself with some pretty top-tier hip-hop talent to make him sound less silly. Like, acclaimed hip-hop producers like Def Jeff. I can't tell if that's the beer making me do that or the sandwich. I'm leaning towards the sandwich. Hip-hop producers like Def Jeff, Eric Sermon of EPMD, and Ali Shaheed Muhammad of A Tribe Called Quest. Which, unfortunately, couldn't be said of another indelible figure of 90s sports, Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, the famed NFL quarterback, cornerback, and MLB outfielder, he pretty much only had MC Hammer in his camp. This is true. He was really tight with MC Hammer, who produced a lot of his stuff. But hey, maybe that's good enough. After all, his one album, 1994's Primetime, managed to reach number 70 on the R&B and hip-hop charts, so maybe his big single, Must Be the Money, is not that bad?
My hair is done, my fingernails too. 6 buttons down and I don't know what to do. Must be the money. It's turning down more. Must be the money. Must be the money. You know I can't go wrong. Must be the money.
He sounds like he's he sounds like he's driving down the fucking freeway recording this song. Just like half-assed singing it.
And he's like half asleep, too.
This is gonna sound like a joke, and I guess it kind of is, but it genuinely makes me miss that time before auto-tune.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just because he's like so like just off steadily throughout, and it would have been so easy to fix by today's standards.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
just it's not fixed because the technology wasn't there, and
No
Deion,
one,
we love you.
no
This
one
is
would be
as
the
far as we
wiser.
got, yeah.
Yeah. Just him, like, lazily trying to stay awake while driving. It's a track that's, like, just reaching...
Make him sing.
Yeah,
Hello, me!
yeah. This song was recorded in Rick Rubin's car, right?
Sure.
His car studio.
Yeah, his car studio.
Yes, his cardio.
Against his will.
Oh, yeah.
Just fucking drive, Ruben. I gotta record this song.
It's not even threatened. I gotta go to work, Dion. Drive the car! I am driving.
Drive the car. I got a gun.
That's not a gun, Dion. We've told you many times before. That's a banana.
And tape's rolling. It's been rolling. I don't know why you're not singing the actual song.
I'm gonna eat this banana now. That's not the lyrics you wrote down. It's really good. It's high in potassium. Must be the money. It's good. Must be the money.
That would be so awesome if in the backseat there were two backing vocalists. Just picture that car going down fucking the Pacific Coast Highway.
That just speaks to
Pop it up every so often.
That just speaks to how professional they are, because like there's all this talk about bananas and guns and stuff, and they're just still on the beat, not even paying attention to what they're talking about. They're earning their paycheck.
Ironically, bananas are pretty fucking cheap. They're like, you buy like a banana at the store, it's like 35 cents.
Why are you charging me for this?
Yeah, like seriously, like it's like a joke. Like, okay, yeah, let me give you 35 cents, or you can just give me this fucking banana.
I feel like we could, instead of exchanging money for this, we could exchange a firm handshake and a smile.
Yeah, this is a gentleman's agreement. You will give me this banana, and I will enjoy it. I will take it off of your premises. It is no longer.
I just
your
imagine like
burden.
the fucking like checkout guy just like hating his life. He's just frowning. He's bleep, bleep. The banana comes across, and he's like, "Oh, thank you for purchasing this banana, sir." And he shakes his hand, and that's like the highlight of his fucking day. And he just goes, bleep.
So glad.
Yeah, just give me the banana. They literally grow on trees. Not around here, but give it.
How's your day at work, honey? Oh, I saw a banana. I sold someone a banana today. It's great.
Great.
Great. That's
So
great,
did you sign
honey.
those papers like I asked you to? It's a track that's trying to reach so hard to be like one of those club anthems of the 90s, and it's utilizing every sales pitch technique it can wrangle together, you know, just to be like that sort of timeless 90s G-funk banger that you hear so much. The only problem is it doesn't realize it's not making that sales pitch to a record executive.
Yeah.
It's in a Wendy's. Or no, it's in a supermarket talking to the register guy.
I want this banana.
Okay, you know what you got to do, though.
I just
I'm
want
gonna
the
eat
banana.
it. No, just come on. I need this.
Come on, sir. Just a handshake and a smile.
I'm reaching over. I'm grabbing your wrist and putting it in my hand. I just need you to move your hand up and down.
Sir, legally, we have to respect the Honduras occurred. You just need to shake my hand.
I was on a shoot one time with Tom, and some kid tried to pitch Tom and his boss the show, and it was pretty fucking funny.
A TV
Not
show?
the show. Yeah. He was like, you guys are at film? He's like, all right, I got this idea for a show. And they're like, all right.
That's how all great pitches start. I understand it.
He's like, all right, listen. So I'm just going to travel. And they're like, okay. And he's like, that's it.
Novel.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, what's the point of the show? He's like, I'm just going to travel around and film it.
That's great.
Did
There's
this guy?
there's like 20 shows like that already. Why not a 21st?
Did this guy happen to be named Guy Fieri?
It was Carl Pilkington.
So I don't want to give you guys the idea that, like, you know, the rap world is the only venue for sports stars making music and doing a very cringeworthy job at it. Hey, Patrick,
Yes.
I have a question for you. You sure you're ready to answer that?
Yes.
Okay. You like Alice in Chains? The legendary,
I love them.
The legendary 90s grunge band. You like
Alice
in Chains?
were a band I've loved and cherished since I was a young whippersnapper of a boy.
As have I.
That's great. Yeah. I got another unrelated question for you. Do you like Bronson Arroyo, former Major League Baseball pitcher?
Yeah, so he was a pretty good addition to the 2004 Boston Red Sox lineup, and I think it played a pretty pivotal role in them winning the World Series.
Right.
From
I
what
think
I
if we
remember.
put Patrick in cornrows, he might look a little bit like Bronson.
So I got another question for you, Patrick.
Sure.
That question is, I lied about them being unrelated. Bronson Arroyo covered Down in a Hole by Alice in Chains.
Oh no.
Down in a hole and I don't know if I can be saved. See my heart, I've decorated like a grave.
I mean, It could be worse.
That was my first thought too.
He sounds like, fucking Shinedown.
He does sound like Shinedown.
Like crap.
The thing is, because it's a vanity project, his vocals are mixed really loud. And if the vocals were mixed better, more suited to this style of music, it actually wouldn't be that bad. It's obviously not great, but it'd be better than it is right now.
But like the point of the thing is to showcase that it's fucking Bronson Arroyo singing an Alice in Chains song. Like,
I mean, it's not bad. He could sing. It's not anything fucking special.
I mean, I kind of just wish it was a shoegaze
it definitely
album
doesn't
instead.
it definitely doesn't sound right coming off of a cover of Alice in Chains.
No.
A band that has a very, very distinct, vocal style.
Like, do a fucking cover of a Three Doors Down song, for Christ's sake. Don't fuck with Lane.
That was off of his 2005 debut album, which is his only album, covering the bases. So, funny. That's funny.
Oh, that is really good.
Sneaks up on you.
Oh man, full of surprises.
Features
A curveball, if you will. Wow.
It features the then Red Sox pitcher also covering songs by Stone Temple Pilots, Pearl Jam, Fuel, The Verve Pipe, and various others.
I really hope the Verve Pipe song was not The Freshman.
Was a cup of tea.
No. When because this is how he talks. When you cover the Verve Pipe, you gotta cover the deep cuts. Those are the magic.
He talks like Lou Ferrigno.
Actually, I've been around.
Pat, get your phone. Look it up.
I've been around Bronson Arroyo before.
I think you say you've been around Lou Ferrigno.
I've been within 100 feet of him before, in the context of him performing musically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I used to work at a kiosk when I was in college at the Prudential Center, and around that Christmas time, they closed off the food court early one night. And he did an intimate acoustic set there. So I was sitting in a kiosk, probably I don't know, a good 500 paces away from where the food court was, but obviously it was loud enough to just kind of wash down the hallway towards me. Mm-hmm. Just the sound of Bronson Arroyo fucking singing like Creep to this crowd of rich Christmas revelers. It was super weird.
Oh boy.
Well, next song, I'm gonna perform a song by Nirvana called "Half the Man I Used to Be." Downloaded it on Napster.
I don't know why he's talking like the like the Dunkaroos engineer.
Well, I think as he's been talking for the past few minutes, he started melting.
Yeah.
I need the Dunkaroos to
That's
become solid again.
That's a thing that happens.
Somebody, Bronson needs Dunkaroos to pitch.
So this album, it even includes guest appearances from fellow players Johnny Damon, Kevin Millar, and Kevin Youkilis on a cover of Dirty Water by the Standells, and a version of Everlong by Foo Fighters with a guest appearance by Stephen King. Yes, that's
Kevin
Stephen
Millar.
King.
It's all come full circle, so let's all get the fuck out of here.
The very same Stephen King who murdered Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, and actually, it was probably a few years after he wrote that book that no one read.
Yeah. So Kevin Millar, and Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon is great. This is one of the few baseball related things I know, and it's not related to baseball so much as it is a player. He apparently was a fucking idiot man-child when he was playing for the Sox, and he lived in an expensive hotel room and spent all his money on video games. So he was basically I don't want to call him house poor because he didn't own property, but he wasn't doing well financially because he was just fucking spending everything on a hotel room.
Yeah, he kind of became popular super fast and became a folk hero on the Red Sox and grew his hair out.
Aren't you friends with a guy who has a fucking ongoing feud with Kurt Schilling or something like that?
Yeah, that's Mick Greenwood. Yeah, he used to work for the Red Sox, and he poked Kurt Schilling a couple. Well, not poked because that's actually a feature of Facebook, but he tagged him a couple times, calling him out on being a fucking right wing douchebag.
Oh,
and,
yeah, because he's dipped his fucking stupid foot into politics at this point. Into,
he's
Tea
dipped
Party
his
shit.
bloody sock into politics.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good for your campaign after you've fucking bankrupted Rhode Island.
Well, what's great about it is that apparently if you are just an average person and you tag him in something where you insult him, he gets angry and will say bad things to you.
Yeah, whereas a normal celebrity would just sort of take the high road and ignore it.
Yeah, no. So I mean, definitely, I'm not asking you to say anything to him, but I'm just saying if you did, he might respond. And who often gets to talk to a celebrity? Not all of us.
I think I should tag him in a few of the photos in that group that I'm in. The Garfield is hot and I want to drink his cum. See what he thinks.
Nah, I think he'd be down with the Garf.
I think he would be. Yeah, he'd.
He wants
Maybe
some
he
Garf
knows.
cummies.
Maybe he knows some good cummies jokes.
Oh my God, he knows all the best.
Oh boy. So this is going to date this episode, but I just might make a quick mention that we're recording this on November 5th, a day before the midterm elections. So I think, in right proper patriotic fashion, I think it's only appropriate that I play a clip of this song real quick if you'll indulge me.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.
I really enjoyed George W. Bush's singing career.
That's the Undertaker's theme, right?
Nope, Hulk Hogan.
I know, I'm
okay.
just being an asshole.
Oh. I was about to say, if any of you listeners are getting PTSD from our Hulk Rules episode, that's...
I was going to say former good friend of the show.
Make it stop.
Yeah, and our good friend Terry Hogan, whatever his name is.
Paul Terry Hogan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, that would count as sports music, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are a bunch of people out here that think that wrestling is fucking real.
Those of you listening, you'll probably recognize this as the one true OG theme music for WWF wrestling legend Hulk Hogan, Real American by Rick Derringer, which is every bit as sweaty and smelling of jingoistic chewing tobacco as I remember it.
I always like that Hulk looked like a really tight sausage ready to pop.
Remember when he was the nanny?
Oh yeah, he was really looking sausagey in that movie.
Yeah, that was a good one. And Suburban Commando around the same time was pretty good. And No
was
Holds Barred.
was he Santa with muscles too?
Might have been.
It was either him or Bill Goldberg. I forget.
My wife got me a DVD for Christmas one year called Secret Agent Club. And that was him after his star had fallen a little bit. So it was probably like mid-90s that it was filmed, but you could believe that it was filmed in like 87. And it was just really sad where he played like a boring, quote-unquote, dad who was actually a secret agent.
My friend Jeff from my band Surprise Party once said of Glenn Danzig that he has a voice that anytime you hear him singing, you just picture him just like singing while perpetually flexing. I like to think that Hulk Hogan was doing that for the majority of his short-lived music career.
Well, it's like Henry Rollins. Henry Rollins sounds like his fucking veins are going to pop out of his forehead when he sings.
Chris is
What do we
showing
got
me
here?
the poster for Secret Agent Club. There's
that's
a
excellent.
hideous ghoul standing next to
Show
him.
the camera.
Yes, we have a camera for those of you listening. If you're wondering why I played that song, it's because it's the key track off of an album that ended up being a prequel to Hulk Rules. In 1985, the WWF, at the height of their ever-growing popularity, released an album simply titled The Wrestling Album, which featured mostly theme music from WWF wrestlers, as well as the theme music to Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling cartoon, as well as a few original songs and production work by Derringer himself, Cyndi Lauper, and Jim Steinman, best known for his work with Meatloaf.
Well, you had to get the greats in there.
Yes.
Wait, was Jesse the Body Ventura featured on this album? at
I
all?
don't remember.
Was Jim Steinman's song 7 minutes long?
Probably.
Listen, Hulk, buddy, you got to get me a song on that album.
Have you ever seen?
You got to get me hooked up with Rick Derringer. I got a good jam.
He's got a great TV show, Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura.
The government's been telling me secrets, and it's been giving me all these lyric ideas.
I was a Navy SEAL. I had top government clearance. What's in this building that they don't want me to see?
I can record my lyrics from my bunker in Mexico.
What's here at Al Capone's? Wait, they already did that. All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break here. We don't do commercial breaks.
The show is fantastic because he has like a fucking action team seated around a conference table at the beginning of every episode, and like everyone's reporting in like all right, Jesse, this is
like his own G.I. Joe.
Exactly. And like everyone's chiming in with like, this is how we're going to research 9/11 today, Jesse. And like they're all going around in a circle.
Wait. Quick question.
Yep.
I have to know. is this action team just Jesse Ventura wearing different hats and wigs?
That would be incredible, but no, it's actually like clearly a bunch of actors because they're all like attractive, like young men and women just seated around this table. But there's always one guy who's like the doubting Thomas. He's like, I don't know about this, Jesse. This seems a little bit far-fetched.
Why do we keep inviting you back? You always question me.
Well, the reason they keep inviting him back is because he's the foil. At the end of every episode, he's convinced.
I was wrong the whole time. I never should have questioned Jesse the Body Ventura. That's right, Chad.
Why do I keep falling for this every week?
I don't know about this, Jesse. It seems like 9/11 wasn't necessarily an inside job.
Now that you've learned your lesson, hopefully next episode you'll be able to get on board. I won't.
Chemtrails, I don't know.
Chemtrails, what is that? A tasty snack? A crunchy treat from a bag? So this album, the wrestling album, it managed to reach number 84 on the Billboard sales charts, but critics rightfully saw through it as a blatant cash grab that was stupid and idiotic. Once again, we turn to allmusic.com and critic Bradley Toriano's 1.5-star review of it. Most of the songs sung by the wrestlers are passed off as soul music, although no one at Motown need worry. Admittedly, this is very funny, but only fans of mid-'80s wrestling will find this interesting.
Motown musicians need not worry.
Guys,
You know
Your
what?
legacy is safe.
But you know what, though? Still not the worst reviewed all-music album on this podcast.
Yeah, seriously. There's been
1.5 stars. It just gets past Attila.
Yeah, apparently better than Billy Idol.
Yep.
Oh, God.
did
Billy Joel.
Did the Billy Idol one get 1 star, too?
I think that was 1.5.
Oh. Well, there we go, then. So, that all-music review is selling the album short, I feel like. After all, the wrestling album isn't just a collection of steroid golems being given access to contact microphones and a Casio keyboard, however. It's also an educational tool. It teaches you what it's like to have your ego shattered. Case in point, the album's other centerpiece, which features the majority lineup of the WWF performing the famed Cannibal and the Headhunters 1965 garage rock hit, Land of a Thousand Dances. Also covered by the likes of Wilson Pickett, the Jay Giles Band, and Little Richard. Now presented here as a song that starts as a cover, but very quickly devolves into an uncoordinated shouting match.
I'll wrap you with my cane, you pencil neck king. Not a thumb around your blind little monkey. I'm gonna slice it like a French fried potato. I'm gonna crush you and I'll see you later. I'm gonna steal your little girlfriend. That's because all you're making is stuck for answers. Somebody say hello.
If you're wondering,
I like how one of them sang like in earnest.
that was probably Jimmy Hart, who wrote a lot of the WWF songs from the time. And he wrote a lot of Hulk Rules, if you'll recall, too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's a songsmith.
Yeah. If you're wondering where the iconic na 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 part was, I assure you it happened. That is absolutely not why you came to listen to the wrestler's cover of Land of a Thousand Dancers, though. You came to test your wills by listening to nearly 6 straight minutes of na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Imagine being that organ player, just doing those slides.
He does that.
Yeah, I think they had those
He
guys
does
in
that
on a
every
separate
verse.
day.
I know. He just kept doing it. The poor guy. He was probably in there, or she was probably in there for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it really hurts their fingers after a while.
I feel
doing
like-
all those,
I feel like that's given the
glissandos.
songwriters of the WWF album a lot more credit than they deserve. Like, I like to think that was just like a little flourish that the keyboardist wanted to do to just be like, yeah, you hear that? I did that 25 times.
Yeah, I really earned my scale minimum.
It's like when I was in high school, my first band that I was in bullshitted our way into a battle of the bands that was at the Worcester Palladium.
Oh yeah.
So like
I did that, too.
every band was like a fucking power metal band or metalcore band because that's what
Was
was
that the
big at the
exposure fucking thing? That
Oh, probably.
Yeah, one of those pay.
It was one of those events where we had to like pay like get X amount of tickets in order to
Yes.
play,
Yeah.
but we didn't fucking do it.
Yeah, pay to play, the fucking classic scam. Yeah.
But like we ended up going first and making thorough fools of ourselves. And then every other band that followed, like I remember the band that immediately followed us had like it was a metalcore band with two guitarists. Both of them did this thing where they had their guitar held like this, and they would just kind of toss the guitar, and it would zip around like it would just sort of spin around them by the strap, and then they would just catch it and go back to playing. The first time they did it, that's pretty cool. The 17th time they did it, it was like
starting to get a little.
It was like okay, you know a card trick.
And how did they keep playing? Were
It's
they
the hell out of
tossing
me.
it up in the air?
That's a good point. That probably just fucked around with their tuning quite a bit.
Was this also the band that had two bassists? Remember that?
I don't remember, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they were there too.
Oh, good God.
Oh boy, the Worcester Palladium. What a mess that place was. Is. It's still there, right?
It's still there.
Now, we've heard some very silly sounding songs today as it is, and the wrestling album is one that includes some incredibly questionable production choices. Like the choice of giving wrestlers like Rowdy Roddy Piper, Mean Gene Okerlund, Junkyard Dog, and even Nikolai Volkov, but like they give them screen time, but nothing, and I mean nothing, can prepare you for my favorite song off of this album, Captain Lou's History of Music. It's the track featuring Captain Lou Albano. It's the one that Cyndi Lauper helped out on. It's 1985, 4 years from the peak Albano of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. And, well, listen.
When I'm on the scene, everything's alright. Captain Lou Albano. I'm a man of 1,000 faces. I know with me going places. Hey, I'm gonna be your guiding light. Captain Lou Albano.
Guys,
I didn't know that.
he's going to be our guiding light, guys.
I didn't know that Lee Ving from Fear was a wrestler.
We hear that again?
Sure, why the fuck not? Here it is again.
I'm a man of 1,000 faces. I know with me going places. Hey, I'm gonna be your guiding light. Captain Lou Albano.
It's that line.
Oh, Captain Lou Albano.
It's that line, I'm going to be your guiding light, that always gets me.
Yeah, I think the Beta Band ripped that off for Dry the Rain.
I feel safer already. So that was all Captain Lou Albano. I mean, technically it was Captain Lou Albano and George the Animal Steele, but he pretty much just pops in every so often just to go, this is true.
Yeah, there wasn't enough of that going on, so I'm glad they got someone else.
It's like, it's like how ska bands always have that guy going, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
That's the horse that they have.
Because all ska bands do their songs while riding buggies.
No, every ska band has a horse.
So
Member.
that one clip cannot possibly contain the entire ridiculousness of Captain Lou's History of Music, because it starts out as like just sort of a makeshift history lesson of like, Captain Lou's gonna tell you about the history of music. And it turns out Captain Lou invented all of the music.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
That makes sense.
Why would he lie to us?
That makes
no.
sense.
He's such a cool he was Super Mario.
I'm just envisioning, like, since I crossed the wires in my head of this and the Beta Band, I can't help but think of him singing Dry the Rain. If there's something inside that you gotta say,
Captain Lou Albano.
Captain Lou will be your light.
So he invented
Happy every day and I'm walking down the block. Captain Lou Albano.
So he invented music, huh?
Yes.
That's
Yep.
great. So he went back in time.
And presumably George the Animal Steele was there to watch and go,
Yeah,
so he
it-
went back in time and visited the Gregorian monks of the time and just sort of taught them.
He went back in time, met with Bach, and pile drived him into his harpsichord and just showed him how it's done.
Yeah, and then he went.
This is how you do counterpoint.
And then he went into the future and wrote "Dry the Rain" by the Beta Band. Someone listening out there, please go to Wikipedia and change that songwriting credit if you get a chance.
In fact, anytime you come across any Wikipedia article for any song, please change the songwriting credit to Captain Lou Albano.
Also, if you work for BMI or ASCAP, you know what to do.
Yes.
All of a sudden, he just gets a huge fucking check in the mail.
Yes. The heirs of Captain Lou Albano are about to get very, very wealthy indeed. Did you guys ever see Captain Lou when he was on the Super Mario Brothers Super Show?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, no, that was interesting because my wife and I watched it within the last couple of years for the first time in a very long time. And when I was a kid, I remember hating the live action parts and thinking, like, this is such a waste of time. I can't wait to get to the cartoon because that's real Mario.
Right.
And then, like, there'd just be cartoon, whatever. Watching it as an adult, it's like, this is barely animated. Like, there may be, like, 4 actual drawings that they, like, flip between to actually make, like, Mario's version of Jack and the Beanstalk with, like, Bowser as the giant. And it's just not good.
Yes.
Shake
Meanwhile-
the camera.
But when
to
you
make it
watch
look
the
like-
live action bits as an adult,
Yeah, meanwhile, the live action stuff are interesting and Lynchian.
yes, yeah, it's like, wow, this is kind of terrifying.
Luigi just opens up his bathroom mirror and Magic Johnson is in there.
I a long time ago, I did a stint at a community college before I went to AI, and I was just like getting credits there, and I hung out in the library there between classes, just killing time. And my ex-girlfriend at the time's mother went there as well. And I'd see her in the library a lot with a friend of hers who I called live action Luigi because the man looked exactly like Luigi.
He looked exactly like Danny Wells.
Is that his name?
Yeah, that was
Danny
the
Wells?
actor who played him.
Excellent. Yeah, he looked like Danny Wells. Probably was.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I checked out there for a little bit. I was really trying to find Ernie's Big Splash.
Jesus.
My
It's out
favorite.
there somewhere.
There's like a really old you know how some local channels would just have like specific commercial spots for the cartoons and stuff, and sometimes they'd have PSAs. Yeah. There's this one PSA that I think originated at a station in Pittsburgh, but I definitely saw on like the old like PAX TV when it was around when I was young.
The old PAX TV.
What do you think this is, Funko Land?
Hi, I'm Danny Wells. You might know me as Luigi. Don't do crack. Please.
If your loved one
it's
is
funny-
suffering from mesothelioma, please call up my good friend
Jim Sokolov.
Jig Sokolov, attorney at law.
It's funny you mention that because I was actually getting to something like that. There was like a PSA with Captain Lou in his live action Mario costume, addressing the camera, being like, "If you think you've got a problem doing drugs, you should talk to an adult, talk to your rabbi, talk to your priest, because drugs are not cool." And he ended it with, "And one more thing: if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die."
Before you die.
You know what I noticed about that era of time? Everything was from fucking Richmond, Virginia. Everything. Send check or money order to blah, 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 blah.
yeah,
Richmond,
yeah.
Virginia, P.O. Box.
Okay, first of all, semantically, no. You can't go to hell and then die.
Oh, right. Captain Lou. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have figured dying would be a prerequisite to going to hell. Unless he meant like, wow, this kid really went through hell.
If you eat drugs, that's like eating a Nightmare King.
If you eat drugs.
Captain Lou doesn't know. He never did drugs. He's a good boy.
Just eating everything.
I ate
There's
so
a
much
pile of
heroin back
cocaine.
in my day.
Freaking shoveling.
I invented
into his-
music and then I ate all of it. Captain Lou Albano.
Just big 2 scoops of cocaine in my mouth.
If your uncle has a problem with overeating, get help.
Tell him to give me a call because I'm hungry.
I haven't been full in decades.
I got the munchies. I found my grandson's weed.
Captain Lou requires satiation.
Please get me food quick. I'm about to eat Daddy Wells.
I have an insatiable lust. Captain Lou Albano.
Did he eat bath salts or something? I was gonna eat Daddy Wells. He's gonna eat me.
Cops put 6 bullets in him and he still didn't go down.
Yeah.
He just went down singing the whole way. George the Animal Steel was there. He tried to plead for sanity. He ran up to the cops and went, but nope, couldn't
I
be
wrote
helped.
the entirety of Remain in Light by the Talking Heads.
It's true.
Oh my god.
I met with Captain Lou the same day I met with Brian Eno.
I need to get more water. You guys continue.
While we're waiting for Chris to get back, I want to touch really briefly on not to spend like an undue amount of this podcast just talking about pro wrestlers specifically performing music. But like this is kind of a last minute addition. I had to touch upon this one for if only for a brief second because friend of the podcast Nate Nimitz from the Shags episode insisted we cover it.
Oh, that's right.
Bookending his request with "This is important." Of course, Wrestling Album had a sequel featuring the title Wrestling Album 2: Pile Driver. And like the original, it had its own centerpiece track in the form of a We Are the World-esque track featuring another huge chunk of the WWF superstars. This one was titled If You Only Knew, and here's how it goes.
See, talk is cheap when you can't keep your promise of destruction.
I think you'll see.
Because of me, you'll need reconstruction.
If you only knew what I'm gonna do to you, you'll be running out of here fast as 2 feet could carry you.
Whoa.
Well, I want to know.
What did I just listen to?
I mean, they went to the effort of recording an original song, which also is not very good. But it sounds every bit as much, you know, like their Land of a Thousand Dances cover, where it's just like, it starts out as a song and then it just turns into threatening to punch the listener.
Captain Lou Albano.
They had to keep him out of the studio for that one. He was,
What if they think
Yelling
that's
his name. He was broken.
What if
you
they think
can't keep bookending every verse with Captain Lou Albano, Lou. But that's my thing. That's what I do, Captain Lou.
That's what they think music is. It's just like two people they eventually get into a fighting match with each other and just start threatening
Just
each other
imagine
and like
if-
terse.
Imagine if that's how
Right.
music was supposed to work.
Well, that's what happened to the Beatles, brother.
Yeah, I remember when
Just
it
cut
was
to-
just John Lennon and Paul McCartney arguing over like
Yeah.
It's like them Gallagher brothers, brother.
Just cut to decades later, and you got fucking like the national anthem by Radiohead, like everyone around here. I'm going to punch you in the face, brother.
I'm gonna punch you in the face, Phil Selway.
Did someone let Colin to the mic?
So, I want to touch, however briefly it merits, also on the soundtrack to the 1996 film Space Jam, a film which represented the joining together of basketball star Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes franchise, and what had to surely be kilograms of cocaine.
Yeah, a movie that like a lot of people say is good, but it is actually not.
It is putrid.
It is not a very good
if you're
movie.
interested in learning more about Space Jam, though, you can feel free to Google the Space Jam website, which is still in
Yes.
service.
That movie came out when I was in like 3rd grade, and nobody shut up about it for like fucking 3 months.
What it has a 22-year-old website.
Wow.
Yeah. With this box office topping film, of course, came a soundtrack which featured a variety of pop, hip-hop, R&B, and dance songs by artists who really never made it out of the decade. It was a Billboard chart success, going 6 times platinum, spawned multiple top 40 singles, including the iconic-ish
Believe I can fly.
Show details, and then you can proceed.
Pat's looking up the Space Jam website.
For
second.
warns you when a website has a certificate that is not valid.
Just
Anyway.
accept it. It's fine.
I don't want to.
It's the movie that had R. Kelly's signature song, "I Believe I Can Fly," part of a soundtrack beloved
Is this
to my
before or
generation.
after he peed on people?
We have no way of knowing, really. It's a soundtrack that's beloved to my generation, and I wish they would stop it. Because, like, the love for Space Jam is, like, another byproduct of this over-lionization of the 90s that the millennials love to beat into the ground so much that I wish would end. Because it's a bad movie. But because a lot of
It's
people...
not one of our best.
But because a lot of people in our age group kidded themselves into believing it was some monumental achievement of the theater when they were a pup. It's become this big, stupid bullet point of pop culture history. It's OST along with it. Like, I've legit heard multiple commenters on YouTube and sites like Uproxx refer to its soundtrack as iconic, and no. I mean, Chris is showing off the Space Jam website, and boy, does it look like it was. Boy, does it look like it was made in Lycos.
Oh yeah, that's GeoCities.
It has a site map.
How far apart were? What year was Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
89.
That was the 80s, yeah,
Okay.
89.
88.
That was like groundbreaking, right?
Oh, speaking
That
of
was
which,
like
when was Cool World?
That was 92?
Yeah, 92.
Okay.
Yeah, with a very young Brad Pitt.
So they had plenty. That actually, I remember, had a pretty good soundtrack to it as well.
I don't remember that.
I remember that name. That
remember
title
that
of
Brad
that
Pitt
movie.
was in it.
What the hell was that one about?
It was like Brad Pitt was like banging a cartoon woman. I don't know.
It was real dirty.
Ralph Bakshi was interesting. So here's what the Space Jam soundtrack had. It had R. Kelly's "I Believe I Can Fly," like I mentioned, which gets played at weddings and school recitals, and it sounds like this.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar.
Not like you needed to hear that clip. That
We all smell like urine now. What happened?
this is a song that gets played at weddings, school recitals, church meetups, and if you know anything about R. Kelly today, inappropriate.
I love the Dave Chappelle thing where he's like, R. Kelly approached me. He's like, man, how could you make a video about me peeing on people? And he's like, motherfucker, how could you make a video about you peeing on people?
I actually have like my own angry history with this song that's unrelated to it being on the Space Jam soundtrack. Because
Did R. Kelly pee on you?
yes, but also hot take. When I used to live in Lowell with a friend of the podcast, Al, and another guy, we shared a place in Lowell, and directly underneath us was a guy who liked to blast loud like
R. Kelly
R&B and
songs.
hip hop music, including this song, like till like 4 a.m.
All
Direct-
ballads all night.
Oh yeah.
I remember, like, I mean, maybe this is Al just screwing with me, but the way he describes it, like, you were out at the time, but we hear, like, him and his wife fighting below us, and at one point I hear him shout, "Everybody knows me! I'm the talk of the town!"
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, I guess, that you're the talk of the town.
Why was this on the Space Jam soundtrack? Does anyone know?
No idea.
Okay.
I mean, presumably it had something to do with, like, I mean, R. Kelly was just starting to pick up around that time, and they needed a song to be like, Michael Jordan, he can fly.
Sure.
I had a white chick who lived above me in my apartment complex in Florida who thought she was a rapper, and she would rap at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, boy.
That's
I
the
would
time
just
to
be
do
like
it.
asleep, and I would hear.
Was she actually a wrestler? Like practicing before going into the studio?
Maybe
Was
I
she
don't know.
George the Animal Steel?
But one night her like boyfriend came over and they got in a fight, and because the stairway to she lived above me, so the stairway to go up to their apartment was like right by my bedroom fucking wall, and he was like in the stairwell like banging on the wall. So he was banging on the wall, and I was just like, knock it off, bang bang.
God, that shit sucks.
The Space Jam soundtrack also had, and this was kind of a big-ish single, it had Seal's cover of Fly Like an Eagle by Steve Miller Band,
Right.
which, to be fair, is actually pretty rad. Not wad, rad.
It's so Brad.
Yes, it's so Brad. Here's a clip. I might actually characterize it as better than the Steve Miller Band.
That was
I was just going to
actually-
say the same thing. Yes,
That was the theme for the United States Postal Service for the while, too.
Was it?
It was.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh boy.
The commercials. USPS.
I'm gonna fly like an eagle and wear little shorts.
And it also had the ridiculous theme song to Space Jam from, that timeless band Quad City DJs who went on to do amazing things.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Quad City DJs, Space
Come on,
Jam.
ride that train.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. It's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
It's the 90s.
Oh, it's a different Quad City DJ song.
Yeah, no, it's not the train.
I was assuming it was the train.
Come
This
on,
is the-
ride that train.
That was probably
ride
the
the
only
Space
thing that
Jam.
kept them from being a one-hit wonder.
Every
too.
time I hear stuff like that, I just think it's CNC Music Factory.
No,
I mean, they're kind of interchangeable, really.
what's funny too is that I think that song is probably, if you put it up against World in Motion, the closest that the Quad City DJs and Joy Division get to one another.
Oh yeah, by strange.
Interesting
proxy, for
connection. My favorite part of that song, there's this one section that sounds very, very funny if you read the lyrics completely straight-faced and as though you're late for a business meeting. Like, hey, ladies, yeah, you ready to stop? No. You want to know why? Why? Because it's the Slam Jam. God damn it. It's the goddamn Slam Jam.
Interesting.
Sure. Yeah, but no, it is actually the Slam Jam, and we need you all to participate in it. It's going to be a problem if we don't.
Guys, we talked about this. We all have to take part.
Listen,
Otherwise, it doesn't count as a
I sent
community
out
service.
emails like weeks in advance about this Slam Jam. I told you guys about it. Like, did you put it in your calendars?
Some of you aren't even wearing purple.
I put up a post on the bulletin board.
Jesus.
Why do I put stuff on the bulletin board if no one's going to look when I post about the Slam Jam? God damn it. And beyond that, can you name one other song from this, beloved to millennials soundtrack besides that?
Oh, R. Kelly's, I believe.
I mean, I have the soundtrack right
Was
here.
it Basketball Jones on there?
Yes, they have a cover of
good old basketball.
From across the room.
No, the only reason I remember that.
They have Barry White and Chris Rock covering Cheech and Chong.
What?
That's the level of cocaine
What?
we're dealing with.
Wait, no. Wait, which Cheech?
The only
Chong?
reason-
Basketball Jones.
like
only-
earache my eye.
No,
Cheech
no,
Chong.
Basketball Jones.
The only reason I remember that is
God
because
damn
it's
it.
the scene where Charles Barkley loses all his powers and he goes to play basketball with like the street kids, and they're like, "You're not Charles Barkley. You're just a wannabe. Get out of here, wannabe."
Oh, we got some great '96 classics here. We got D'Angelo. We got Monica.
I
We got
love D'Angelo's.
Oh yeah,
Salt and Pepper.
sexy.
So I've never
Then we
seen
got
Space
B-
Jam. Does Michael Jordan have a relationship in it?
Yeah, he's married.
He
He's
has
got
his
kids.
wife.
With
No,
the
I
girl
didn't-
bunny.
I didn't know if he had like a.
Yeah, don't you remember that scene where they?
No, I just said I haven't seen the movie.
The sex scene.
No, the reason I was asking is because
There's a steamy
Bugs is
makeout.
like Michael.
I can see if they got in a
yes,
fight.
there's a steamy makeout.
How could
scene.
you?
There's a steamy makeout scene between him and Bugs Bunny dressed as an opera singer.
Excellent.
Ooh yeah.
No, the reason I
I
was
wonder why
asking
millennials love
is
it.
because timing wise, if he got into a fight with his girlfriend and then decided that they had to make up afterwards, they could play Breakfast at Tiffany's.
by
Deep Blue
the
Something.
90s.
Blue
Yeah,
Something.
Deep Blue Something.
Do you think Bugs Bunny fucks like Smudge? Do you think he latches on there?
So he's got that like insane. Probably. I mean, he's a rabbit. Although Smudge doesn't do that anymore.
I was about to yell at you for asking such an inappropriate question. That's his child.
No, that's not my child. That's my pet.
Okay, sorry. You don't think of them like I do.
No.
I have a weird psychosexual relationship with my cats.
Yeah, I walked in and Patrick was trying to breastfeed the cat. It's fucked up.
No,
trying to.
Ever
I
since,
was.
Ever since we got Smudge fixed, he's become very docile.
Nice. Yeah,
Maybe
he's
you
gonna
could get
be
rabbits
mellow.
So I'll tell you one thing this soundtrack did have, apart from those other ones. One of the weirdest, most 90st, and probably least requested collaborations of all time. Just to like gauge the room, what do you guys like? Name like two distinctly 90s bands and artists that you think would make the most interesting like Space Jam collaboration of all time. And I'll tell you how close you are to it.
Sugar Ray and Eminem.
Yeah, close. Actually, a lot closer than you think.
I'm gonna go with Toad the Wet Sprocket and Beck.
A little farther than Jim's
Ooh, do I
answer.
win a
but
prize if I come the closest?
7, Mary 3, and the Gravediggers.
Oh yeah,
that might be the closest, actually.
I think that was on the Judgment Night soundtrack, wasn't it? Right after Booyah Tribe and Faith No More.
How about Biz Markie and Spin Doctors? Here's the kicker. They're covering "That's the Way I Like It" by Casey and the Sunshine Band.
No, they did.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, they are. Yes, they did, and you're gonna hear it right now.
When you whisper, sweet in my ear. When you turn, oh, you turn me on. Oh, that's the way I like it. Yeah, that's the way I like it. Oh, that's the way I like it.
I think that was definitely in a Burger King commercial at some point.
Yeah, that did not need to happen.
Yeah, who asked for that?
I think I remember that Burger King commercial with this in it. This was when they were advertising the Shack Pack, correct? That was
probably
the Shack Pack,
which was
Was
marketed
that a green
alongside
burger too?
the Shack Pack was marketed alongside Space Jam, which I cured it.
It's funny because Shaq wasn't even in the movie.
Exactly, that made sense in my head.
I wonder if he felt left out. I feel like Shaq's feelings get hurt easily.
He was in Kazam. He was busy with that.
Was it? So
And
wasn't
he
it
actually
like one
got
of
to
those-
rap in that movie.
Wasn't that was one of those things where it's like
Mandela effect.
yeah,
is
the
what you're
Mandela
talking
effect
about, yeah.
where it's
People thought it was Sinbad.
yeah.
And it was a movie called Shazam.
Yeah, because he's in Kazam. Shaq, technically.
Shazam's a DC superhero
Yeah.
Yes.
who is
Hey.
not who, to the best of my knowledge, is not a genie.
Actually, you know, his the track "We Genie" from Kazam is pretty good. That's
yeah?
one of Shaq's better rap tunes. I should have thought of that before right now, but
But yeah, Biz Markie and Spin Doctors didn't need to happen. But I can just picture like some BuzzFeed story in the future. It's just like 30 years ago to this day is the day that Biz Markie and Spin Doctors got together to produce the 90s collab of all time.
Greatest collab of all time. Epic.
I can see Biz Markie singing their originals as well.
Spin Doctors originals.
you want to come in, baby, if you wrong, little bit can't be wrong.
I got a pocket full of kryptonite.
I remember being going to a karaoke like 10 years ago, and I think my beard was a little longer then, but like these like women over at the karaoke club saying that I kept saying that I looked like the lead singer of the Spin Doctors.
Oh boy.
You look like the lead singer of the Spin Doctors. Like, Weymouth
It's not me.
Housewives. No. I didn't do any of that for them.
So, what do you say we round out our discussion, such as it was, by briefly touching on another piece of 90s pop culture ephemera that has aged really badly? Jock Jams, which was a series of 5 compilation albums produced by ESPN and distributed by Tommy Boy Records.
Y'all ready for this?
And like Space Jam, it consisted of a mixture of distinctly 90s era dance and hip hop music, mashed up with audio clips of athletes, cheerleaders, and announcers saying things. To give the experience of being in a stadium, maybe?
Yeah, you get lonely at home, you need the stadium to sort of build you up, get you going for the day.
Here's that. most famous clip that I'm sure you're all well aware of.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
I was not ready for that.
Excuse me. You didn't give me
Stop the
chance-
song. Stop the song.
You didn't give me a chance to prepare.
I am not ready. I am not ready for this. I need to prepare. I need a full itinerary of what it is exactly that we are about to engage in.
I think it was NHL '95 that started with that song.
Oh yeah.
Like it had, bled into video games at that point, which was pretty early for that sort of thing.
So, I mean, did they write this song? Who? First of all, who wrote the song?
This song
Captain
is...
Lou Albano.
Yes.
Of course, he wrote everything.
Stupid
This song
question.
is "Get Ready for This" by Two Unlimited.
Two Unlimited, right?
Which
I mean,
was
did they set out to write
another one of many '90s dance house bands that are probably still around performing at, like, Applebee's.
Play the
Why is
Jock
Applebee's
Jam
still a
song.
thing?
So when they're like playing down at like whatever the equivalent of PA's lounges in their locale, there people are just shouting from the audience, "Play the Jock Jam song."
We just did.
That's all we've got. We can't remember any of our other stuff.
I mean, did they really set out to write a sports anthem? These guys? Do you know anything about their background?
Not really.
No.
Nope. Didn't write it down. Couldn't be buggered.
Well, I know that the writer was a wrestler.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what was his name again?
Captain Lou.
I actually have a Jock Jams related memory that ties back into when we were talking about sports stuff we did. When I was in middle school, what they would do for like gym class, every single, like, there would be days where like there's no sports or anything to do, no activities. So literally the entire class would be, here's the gym, run around it, and we'll play Jock Jams for the whole hour.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
That's I had fucking gym class. Like it was like the fucking Buzz Ballads. It's like
Love hurts.
you're unbelievable. Wow.
It's actually your crumbelievable.
Crumble you.
Oh,
Like the cheese crumbles that you would get in the bag. Remember those?
So I got kind of a weird little thing that's sort of related to the Jock Jam thing.
And there's that fucking dish. Sorry, go ahead.
You know how the Jock Jams combine like different clips from like sports and shit like that on top of existing songs. One time for a Yankee swap, I got a B movie. I forget what the movie even was at this point. It was like some like real piece of shit. But on the
Was
cover,
it B movie with Jerry Seinfeld?
it was not. But
It's a shitty movie.
no, but that's a solid B plus of a joke. Like that was pretty good.
We'll save that for the stinger.
So I get this B movie and it has a sticker on it that says audio CD included, but that's all it said was
Here we
audio
go.
CD included. So I took it into work a few days later. My boss was on vacation, so me and a bunch of like the degenerates that I worked with at the time, we open it up and we're like, all right, let's fucking play this. So we throw it on my boss's computer because he has the biggest speakers on his, and it starts playing New York Minute by Don Henley. New York Minute. So my coworker puts it in, and as soon as he hears it, he starts like doing this like midget from Twin Peaks style dance to it, and then his face just dropped when all of a sudden you hear like police scanner reports from 9/11. He's playing over it.
What?
Like all these audio clips of like the towers have fell. The towers have fell.
no.
And like
What
in
the
a New York Minute, like with that happening in the background.
Oh
And
my god.
we're like, is this on every song? So we went through and they're all like New York State of Mind, like
Oh my
New York
God.
Groove, and they all have the same
Bryan
thing.
Adams.
It's all like George Bush's speech from that night and like shit like that, just interspersed
Jeez.
with all these songs.
and this was licensed and came with the movie.
It just said audio CD included, and that was the content of the unmarked audio CD that was
what
inside.
fucking like what sick asshole like pops that on and is like, oh yeah.
This is my jam. I
You know
don't
what?
just want to hear any version of New York State of Mind. I want to hear the one with people screaming.
You know what? I think we can we can move. We can move more of these Tom Skerritt pictures from 1984 if we put this audio CD in there.
We're just thinking of fucking. Oh my god, what the fuck's his name? Old Blue Eyes, famous singer.
Frank Sinatra.
Fucking Frank Sinatra's like New York. What the fuck are
New
going on?
York. That had to have been on it.
People screaming in the back.
Jumping out the window.
God.
Oh my god.
New York, New York.
Just tell Hannah I love her. Okay, just tell Hannah. I love you.
Let's roll.
So, just taking a quick look at the track list of those 5 compilations is a trip down memory lane. A really boring memory lane. And, like, I mean, remember the band Funky Green Dogs?
No.
Who doesn't?
Remember Freak Nasty?
Sure do.
No, you don't.
Remember Republica?
Oh,
Republica,
yes.
yeah. Baby, I'm ready to go.
Yep, that was on there.
Yep.
Remember Bizarre Incorporated?
Not so
No.
much.
Remember Seven Fisher?
Where are you going?
Remember
with this?
Strafe?
Stop.
Remember the Out Here Brothers?
Remember the Alamo?
I could do this for hours for how completely forgettable a lot of these bands are.
Hey, guys.
these are
guys,
all jock jams.
Yeah,
Guys,
they're all
it's-
Jock Jams
it's,
bands.
It's Tom and Jake. Tom and Jake out there.
Okay.
Please.
And they just
Mister
ended-
out there was my grandfather. Call me Gerald out there.
Oh yeah.
Call me Fuckstick.
All right,
One last track that I'll touch upon that I was surprised to learn was not on Jock Jams, despite it being a fucking massive sporting arena anthem. Here's the track Kerncraft 400 by Zombie Nation, which I always forget. Kerncraft 400 is the name of the song. Zombie Nation is the name of the artist, not the other way around. This is important.
Yeah, I'm already
It's
confused.
Kerncraft 400 by Zombie Nation, not Zombie Nation by Kerncraft 400. You got that?
Yeah, sure. Close enough.
As well as I'm gonna.
Here's a clip. So anyway,
And the Bruins win the Stanley Cup.
I was about to say that actually has sort of a connection to us locally because that's like a song that's used whenever the Bruins score.
Yep. And then Black Betty's the pump up song.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that song.
really?
Yeah,
I
there's
don't like
probably
it.
about a dozen songs that I just fucking loathe and want to like.
Bam, 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 ba-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I hate that fucking song.
Well, I think it's great, and you can all fuck yourselves.
That's fine.
It has
I will.
nothing to do with sports whatsoever. And it's somehow like been used by like the Seattle Mariners, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the UCF Knights, Penn State's college football team, the footy club FK Austria Wien, the Wales national football club team.
Oh, yeah.
The Scottish club Celtic FC, and the Japanese professional baseball team Yokohama Dana Bay Stars.
Sure.
You never can tell, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I think most hockey teams have like a song that plays when they score a goal.
Yeah.
I know the Blackhawks have one. I forget how it goes.
You think people were just like scrambling to get this one before Boston Bruins called firsties?
I don't know.
We need that song before someone else gets it. Those
Yeah.
darn Bruins, they always get things first.
trying to think of
That
what
chant was based off of a Sid chip sample from the Commodore 64 game Lazy Jones.
Oh, no shit.
Yep, that's true.
No, that's absolutely correct because I actually fucking had that game as a kid.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Oh wow. That's interesting.
Off topic, by the way. Bad name for a game.
Oh yeah, no, it was a real shitty game. Yeah, you were like
Great
walking
song.
around this apartment building, and like you could see all the floors, and if anyone walked into you, they would just like push you away from wherever you were trying to go. It wasn't fun.
And that's the whole game.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Wow, that's like elevator action, but with no stakes.
Yeah, kinda. That's really what it was dealing with there.
Both Joe and Chris looking something up on their phones right now. What's that you got right there?
Oh,
It's the Blackhawks
yeah, that song.
goal song.
What song is that?
It's called the
Chelsea.
yeah.
It's
And that's
Sounds like Queens of the Stone Age.
it does. It does. It's a dead ringer for no one knows.
It's the fucking Shrek song.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, boy.
I never watched that.
And that's when they score?
Yeah. What is this?
This is Lazy Jones.
That sounds nothing like that. What the hell, Wikipedia? You made me out to be a fool. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait, I
There's
think
a
I hear it
melody in
now.
there. It's a 5-minute long loop, so.
Chelsea Dagger was the name of this song.
Oh, yeah, okay.
This
is
is
beautiful.
riveting radio, by the way.
Oh, you know what? You know what else we fucking forgot? Fucking Sweet Caroline, the fucking Red Sox, goddamn pain in the ass.
Hey, they
Oh,
won
right.
the
They
game.
won the baseball
they won the
champion.
baseball champs, so now
Oh,
they have
right.
beaten all the other sports. There's no more football, no more basketball,
I
no more
completely
hockey.
forgot to get a clip of that Captain Lou Albano song.
Yeah, and what's really good
Sweet
about that too is
Lou Albano.
Captain
I wrote this song.
there's a great video on YouTube called Batman Has a Drinking Problem, and it's a pretty well made like parody of like the 60s Batman. And like it's like he's always like, oh yes, the Riddler did that, and to catch him we must go to his hideout, and on the way is McGreevy's pub, and then like you'll see him in a bar just like getting hammered. But one of the times that happens, he's just sitting there dancing along to that song, and when it comes to the chorus, he's just like, I'm Bruce Wayne.
And I have run out of songs.
I think we have enough.
It might be time to wrap this up, you think?
I think so. I
Okay.
think we've scored the touchdowns. We've
I don't
won
feel like
the-
I'm gonna
the
throw up anymore.
championships.
So that's
Do you
good.
think we've learned anything from this whole experience?
Don't eat
Besides-
the Nightmare King.
Yep,
Don't eat
yes.
the Nightmare King.
If
That's the
if
first
there's
big
nothing
lesson.
else that you can glean from us listening to sports music, is don't eat the Nightmare King.
I learned how to play baseball a little bit today while we were going around the bases here.
I thought I saw your dad come in and just toss you a couple to catch.
Yeah, so he came in. He helped out. He tossed me the ball. I took it to the face a few times.
He
got
tossed
few
around
putty
he
mows.
tossed around a croquet ball for some reason, which was weird.
Yeah.
And Kevin
do
Costner
that.
and James Earl Jones emerged from behind one of the blankets
Yeah, they'll
with
do
the
that.
Chicago White Sox, all the cheating White Sox.
Oh, those bastards.
And Captain Lou came in holding Gunter.
Oh, yeah, he wrote the song. He wrote the song for the world.
I made this cat.
I made this cat on rock and roll.
Chris Brown and Jim Schultz.
Hi.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on
you.
the podcast.
Oh yeah.
We were recorded.
Oh boy, oh boy. You guys got anything you want to plug before we're out?
Don't eat the Nightmare King.
That's a good plug.
This is an anti-plug for the Burger King's
Yeah.
Nightmare King.
Don't eat the Nightmare King. Listen to the podcast that Patrick's on with us couple chuckle fucks. And Old Man Yell at Cloud is the name. I'm getting it right now that we're not on that show. And yeah, you can check out all the shit I do at christophergbrown.bandcamp.com.
Isn't Nickelback coming back too?
Nickelback is coming back. We recorded
Yay.
our 4th episode of the season last night, so I'm going to start editing, and one will be out this month. We're
Awesome.
going to do one a month.
I'm going to be starting another podcast with my friend Mike. It's going to be called From Drip to Dram. It's going to be a coffee and whiskey review shit show.
Dang.
Yeah, I was gonna say
As much
there's-
as Mike's going to try to make it a prestigious podcast, I'm going to tear the shit apart because that's what I do. I fuck everything up.
Yeah.
You're
Some
the,
men just want to watch the
emphasis-
world burn.
emphasis
You're,
on the
um,
shit because you're drinking so much coffee and whiskey. You're definitely gonna have.
Yeah, I hope he
diarrhea.
doesn't want to do it at like 10 o'clock at night or I'm never going to sleep again.
You're like the cleaner for making podcasts explicit. This podcast is too clean cut. Call Schultz.
punch this up.
Fuck, shit, fuck.
There's this thing with Ernie and Bart peeing on each other.
I wish I could find it.
That's
It's
my
not-
that's
it's not-
my incredibly accurate Jim Schultz.
I'm happy you realized immediately that it was a hacked ROM.
It sounds like a hacked ROM.
It's Ernie fucking jerking off and coming everywhere. It's fucking hilarious.
You got anything to plug, Pat?
I don't really have much to plug. I don't know. Got some new smell stuff coming out at some point, but
Yeah, that's my fault.
yeah, that's Jim's fault. No, but I don't know. Yeah, I'll talk about that more on future episodes.
Right.
Other than that, just check out Old Man Yell at Cloud.
I did
Right.
I did start recording the drums.
Very cool.
Yeah, when he wasn't too busy with that fucking Ernie ROM.
I just announced earlier this week I got a Sawtooth EP dropping on the 23rd.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I got to plug. I got a surprise party show, but that'll have already passed by the time this comes out.
That's too bad.
I would have already passed the Nightmare King by the time it comes out.
Yeah.
Well, here's hoping, because if we don't, then we should probably all seek medical attention by the time this episode rolls around.
Oh boy. Our theme song was Sunny Day by the band Froggy and the Friendship. Go check them out at froggyandthefriendship.bandcamp.com. If you got an album you want to suggest for us to review or just want to leave us some feedback or a comment, email us at jukeboxzerospodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/jukeboxzerospodcast or on Twitter at twitter.com/jukeboxzeros. You can find us, rate us, review us, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. And our archive main page is jukeboxzeros.podbean.com. That about does it for this episode of Jukebox Zeros. I'm Lee.
I'm Patrick.
And remember, bye-bye.
I'm Captain Lou Albano talking to you about drugs. Kids, don't be afraid to say no. Anyone that asks you to use drugs is not your friend. Drugs can and will kill. Remember, don't be afraid to turn to your priest, your rabbi, your minister, your moms, your dads, your teachers, because drugs can kill. And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die. Please.